Good afternoon, Tammy.
Good afternoon, Samantha. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Excellent. So glad to have you here and welcome everybody to Spotlight on Business by GTApreneurs. I'm Tammy Defoe, business coach, founder, and public speaking instructor for GTApreneurs. And I'm so happy to have with me today Samantha Glass, who is a member of the week for our Thornhill Professional Network. And we're here today to learn more about Samantha. So welcome to the show, Samantha. Can you tell everyone more about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I know we're here on a live, so for those watching, make sure that you give us your likes, your comments on the video. And if you're watching on the replay, please indicate replay so that Tammy and I can circle back with any answers to your questions. So as Tammy said, thanks, Tammy, for having me here. My name is Samantha Glass. I'm a licensed paralegal here in Ontario, Canada with SFG Paralegal Services, LLP. Excited because my group, the Thornhill group, nominated and voted for me to be the member of the week. So that's why I'm here with you today. And just a little bit about myself. I come from a background of construction and property management. And I got into law because I had issues in my past that of discrimination, of being harmed, both for my son and for myself. And I can tell you a little bit about that just to lead up to why I got into this. So I worked for an employer that was hugely discriminatory against me and my son. My son, unfortunately, suffered from major health issues as a young child. I was working in this in a building supply store while I was trying to go to school. And my employer actually said to me, you know what? Why don't you get someone else to take your son to the hospital? Why is it always you? It doesn't matter if he's disabled. You should find someone else. And that kind of launched me even further into a passion of law. I just wasn't sure until that happened. And I remember speaking to my mother about it, and she's like, Samantha, you're always arguing. Why don't you get paid to do it? So it came from a passion of being wronged and a passion of I want to help the underdog so that it doesn't happen to them. And here I am today. We're looking at 10 years later as a licensed paralegal, 15 years in the legal field, my parents with their property management business. And that's kind of me in a nutshell. And I'm happy to share all the stories of how I got here and even further with anybody that has any questions.
Well, that's awesome, Samantha. I'm so happy that, first of all, that I met you and that you're part of GTApreneurs. I know all the group members are so lucky to have you. You're a great promoter of everybody's business. Any legal issues I have, you know what, you're my lady to go to. I know you do a great job for me, right? And your whole firm, actually, right? So we know your partner, actually, he is part of the Vaughan Professional Network because you know what, GTApreneurs, we are all about helping you grow your businesses. And so, you know what, take full advantage of that.
Definitely.
And a lot of people, they still don't know what paralegals do, right? It's a really unknown thing, right? But they are helpful in so many ways. So what's the difference between a paralegal and a lawyer?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, I can answer that question. So we've always been around. This is the thing, we've always been around. Often people have this misconception of paralegals because they watch TV shows like Suits, where they see Meghan Markle as the paralegal who's a legal assistant. And in fact, that's actually not true here in Ontario and some of the other provinces. So paralegals in Ontario were recently, and when I say recent, I'm talking about the last 12 years, were recently regulated to hold a license. Before that, paralegals still acted independently of lawyers and still represented people, but there was no regulator in play to protect the public. So my regulators, the Law Society of Ontario, they oversee and facilitate education, and they allow us to write a licensing exam that's 7 hours long in order for us to get our license if we pass it. Once we pass it, we have to hold insurance and we have to report to the Law Society that we're continuing to develop ourselves. So we are really, the Law Society really watches us because they want to ensure protection. Now, paralegals, they can represent people in over 700 boards, tribunals, and commissions in Ontario, as well as your civil court, small claims court under $35,000, your criminal court on summary convictions, and in provincial offenses. Often people think traffic tickets, but also municipal issues such as, oh, I got a fine for not cutting my grass or removing the snow. So there's a lot of things that we can do. We are not under the supervision of a lawyer. We are completely independent of lawyers. However, you may see some paralegals work for lawyers, and it's just a comfort level. It depends. We do have a limited scope of practice, soon to be allowing us to do family law with the proper education and license from the Law Society. So there's a lot of things. And I know people come to me, oh, Samantha, can you do my will? Or can you do my real estate closing? Those are things that we can't do, but we can do things like, we can assist you with a landlord-tenant matter. We can assist you if you have to sue somebody, should there have been a breach of a contract or you need to collect money, and human rights, employment law. There's so many things like that. I would be here for hours telling you all the things we can do, but that's kind of a very quick summary of what a paralegal can do to assist anyone here that's watching.
Absolutely. That's great. And you know what? COVID has really presented us with a lot of challenges.
Yes.
And so what are the different types of things you've seen this year that you've been able to help your clients with?
Definitely. So I am also a law instructor. So I teach paralegals, and I actually teach the ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution course. So a lot of the things that I've been doing is negotiation and mediation during COVID. Because of COVID, the court system didn't shut down per se, but it got stalled. There was no in-person hearings, there still isn't, or in-person court. It's all online. So because the court system had to pivot, it caused a standstill in a lot of people's lives, landlords losing money, tenants not being able to bring applications. It's a big mess. And now the board, landlord tenant board, is trying to catch up. The small claims court and other courts are doing the same. So we offer, mediation, negotiation, things that we can do that are alternative to the litigation or tribunal system during COVID. And another thing is education. And I'm huge on education, both to my students and to the public on various legal issues. So that's been my life during COVID, just been pivoting, making sure that people are aware of their rights and what they can do to protect themselves, and what the legal landscape is going to look like after COVID as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I know the course will be playing a lot of catch up. Actually, things have been on hold, right? But I've also heard some people too that they book weddings.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And they put deposits down, and then they're kind of stuck because they can't have the wedding.
Right.
So,
I can talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
I don't take up too much time on that, but
okay.
So during COVID, that was my main legal issue. I was actually interviewed by Elle Magazine, Elle Canada, about this issue because I really interjected myself into that area. I was educating both vendors and couples because yes, there are weddings scheduled during COVID and they can't happen because of government regulations. Mm-hmm. So what do? You get a contract that says you pay a deposit, mm-hmm. and the deposit is non-refundable, and your wedding passes by and you're stuck. You're like, okay, well, I just lost my money. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. So there is, depending on every single case is different, there may be a way to get partial deposit back, maybe all of it. Maybe you've lost it because you've canceled your contract. But there are many things and I want everybody to understand who's watching, and I can see Teddy is here, so hello to Teddy. There are many things that we have to consider in law. The law is not black and white. I wish that it was so simple that, you walked in and said, oh, I owe this person owes me money, let's just go sue them. It's not that simple. And that's the same thing with weddings. It depends what the person has said to the vendor said to the person, or the contract said. So yeah, that is a huge issue that is continuing as we start to continue to pivot through COVID.
Yeah, for sure. Right. And you know what? It's difficult both for vendors and for couples, like you mentioned, because for vendors, if you're giving everybody a refund, then you have no money. How can you support yourself? Right. Because your business is your income. But on the other hand, if you're a couple, you put a deposit down and you want to get married this year, then what do you do? Right. And I know that you guys do a lot of landlord tenant work as well. So, both representing tenants, both representing landlords. I know you're really strong on yourself personally, the landlord. Some other people in your office do more of the tenant stuff, but it's another one of these issues because of COVID that some people are not paying their rent right, and then the landlord's okay, well, how can I deal with that? And it's a whole ball of wax. So how some ways you've been helping your landlord clients?
Landlords, it's a lot of education. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of negotiation. It's really also, the landlords are losing a lot of money right now. Landlords are in excess, some that I know are in excess of $25,000 in arrears. Mm-hmm. I had a landlord yesterday, $60,000. and there's still delays in getting your matters heard.
Yeah.
So how I've been helping is really to try to negotiate, to try to show people that, you know, landlord, you're emotional. I need to remove you from the situation and put myself in it so that I can speak on your behalf, because I'm approaching the tenant from a different perspective. That, hey, the goal is to try to figure out a solution that's win-win for both parties. So that's the only thing we've really been able to do, other than, you know, in the background, ensuring the paperwork is properly done and filed so that we can eventually be heard at the landlord and tenant board if we can't come to some sort of agreement. And I just want to mention, if there are any landlords here, the biggest thing that I've been seeing is paperwork done wrong. And if one error is done wrong on any of your notices, your application is dismissed. So please, everybody, that if there's anyone watching that's an investor or landlord, and you've been waiting all these months and haven't spoken to a professional, I would highly suggest that you have someone look at your paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they should reach out to you, Samantha, because, you know, some people think that, okay, before, like, the tribunals are not open, so then, okay, I guess I don't have to file the paperwork. Right. But it's not actually true. You know, you have to do the paperwork. So I think that a lot of people could benefit from professional legal advice. I know it's great. You're only a phone call away for people. They just have a few questions and stuff like that. Just give Samantha a call. She's more than happy to work on that. And, you know, whether it be COVID specific, which, again, we don't know how long it's going to be going on, right? Or there's other issues as well that, you know, you are owed money and that kind of thing, right? You need a professional to go in there and to work with getting that money back for you. They said the small claims court goes up to $35,000 now. But I think it's great. You know what? I said, I'm so happy to have you here today, Samantha, that, you know, it's all about education, like you said, right? And because a lot of people don't know what paralegals do, I really wanted you to come out here and explain that to people, because well, as we all know that lawyers, we need to get them for some things. They can be very expensive. So you know what? Paralegals, you guys are also professionals. You do a fantastic job. You know, you're a brilliant lady. I know the other partners and paralegals at your firm are also brilliant, right? But you know what? It's if you don't need to get the lawyer for certain things right, you might as well, you know, get a little bit of a discount by doing with a paralegal, right? And then same idea. People can do legal aid. That's awesome, but not everybody qualifies for legal aid. So I know that's part of how you got into doing paralegal work. But can you tell us something specifically, maybe this year was a really big success story you have for a client that stands out for you?
Oh, yes. So we had a client that was sued at the Human Rights Tribunal. It's interesting that she was the one who was sued because she's the one who was totally discriminated against. She had brought her own application. 4 years ago, she tried to bring an application, didn't know what she was doing, and her application got dismissed. And what had happened is the respondent in that case turned around and actually sued her. And while she was at the Human Rights Tribunal, he was actually discriminating against her, and she couldn't bring an application because she had already brought the application and it got dismissed. So he kept going after her hard. This is a woman that was sick in the hospital, suffering from many disabilities, and he was badgering her. So we're 4 years later. Okay, 4 years later, the tribunal's giving him the opportunity to be heard, to see if the case has merit, and just so much emotions and so much stress and anxiety on her that really, she said to me, Samantha, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I can't handle it anymore. Like, she was really getting suicidal at this point.
Yeah.
And our team put our minds together, and we were able to get his case dismissed. And she called us up crying, and she said, you know what? You guys stood by me when no one else would stand by me, and got me the result that I was looking for, that this person can now leave me alone, and I can close the door to that part in my life and move forward to healing. And those kinds of things really, really make a huge difference. This is why my team really loves what we do. We're so passionate about it because, yes, we have to get paid, but it's not just about money. For us, it's about making a difference in society and helping those that have been wronged, from both a company's perspective and an individual's perspective. So this client was very, very happy with us. And I was honestly, if I could have had her here or go to her and hug her, I would have, because that's how much pain she was going through, and she needed that. And this was just a release for her. So that's probably one of the most positive cases that we've had. I mean, there's other things, but that's the one that stands out most recently to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Because, you know, that's why it's good to have someone who can advocate for you, right? Because unfortunately, there's situations where there's some people who, you know what, they're not the greatest people, right? And they can do things that, you know, can wreak havoc. And for this lady already to have disabilities, to be having to deal with that every day, right? And then to be having her case dismissed because she just didn't have the expertise to put it forward. And then on top of that, they're suing her.
Exactly.
Like, I can't even imagine. Like, that is just awful. So, you know what? I'm so glad to hear that you guys helped her out with that.
Definitely.
And that's what it really is. It is really about helping people out. And, you know, not every professional is in that space, right? Some people, like, they are just doing it for the money, right? So, you know what? When you care about people, you're going to be, you know, do a much better job for them, right? And that, and, you know, I know it makes everybody happier, right? Makes you happier, makes the client happier. So, yeah. So thanks again for coming on here, Samantha.
Thank you.
You are so awesome. So if anybody here has even just any questions about whether it be human rights issues, landlord tenant, and also, Samantha, you didn't mention to us a newest branch of your business. Can you tell us about
that? Yeah, so I've recently in the summer, paralegals were given the opportunity to now be notaries. So before we were commissioners only, and now we're notaries. So just very quickly, a commissioner and a notary are professional witnesses. So they would witness divorce documents, wills, some mortgage documents, closing documents, and other types of affidavits. So I created this company called Notary Now. And the purpose behind it was really that people were saying, okay, well, we can't get to the courts. The courts are shut down. And, you know, most of these other notaries are downtown. So I said, okay, you know what? And they're by appointment only. I said, you know what? Notary Now, when you need it now. So you can call us, you can email us, and we can come to you, you can come to us, or we can do a virtual notary depending on the document that you need. So I created that really because people were asking me all the time, Samantha, I need a notary. Samantha, I need a commissioner. And I thought, yeah, you know, I should have this as an extra service for people, not just my clients, but just someone that needs a stamp, a professional witness. My team can do that for you. And we don't need an appointment. You just have to contact us and we'll do that.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what, need you now, that sounds great, right? And a lot of other people, they say need you now, but yeah, like, what exactly does that mean to you when you say notary now?
To me, it's a fast service and usually people that call me are like, oh gosh, I need it done in the next couple hours. I'm like, okay, no problem. Tell me where you are, or you come to me and we'll go virtually. So for me, it's because people have called me and said, I can't get somebody. I can't get to a court. It's shut down, or I have to wait in a 2-hour lineup at the passport office and I can't because I have a child in daycare, or I have to go back to work, or I have to take time off work. So instead of having that issue, it's really, let's figure this out so we can get it for you fast. And we actually have a person that's like in our office that's on call, whether it's myself or one of my partners, that they have the ability to leave and go if they have to go, if it's needed now. So it's a great concept because you don't have to sign up for an appointment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's great. I know some of you and your paralegals in there, right? That's, you know, you're not in an appointment, you're working on a case and someone needs it now. You'll drop it and you'll just do it. So if somebody, right, if you need a professional witness, you know, to something that's, you know, it's said for in terms of a will, right? You know, you can go to a lawyer and something is you need to do that. But if you have your own will, you just want to have it officiated that this is true, what I'm saying, and that right. And that way, if, you know, we pass away or family passes away, it will stand up in court, you know, that this is legal. They just call you up, you'll stamp it and stuff like that, and they'll be on their way.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, definitely. So before we go, Tammy, I want to edify you if you don't.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so I want to tell everybody a story. Okay. I remember back last year, I was looking for a networking event to go to, and I kept finding these different events, and I kept coming back to Tammy's because Tammy had this trivia, and I was like, what's this? I haven't seen anything like that before. Like, this sounds really fun and interesting. And usually networking events are you go into a big room and you may talk to one or two people, or everyone's sharking you with business cards, right? So that's what I was used to. And I found Tammy's event online. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to go there because there's a game and that sounds exciting to me. It's not boring networking. It's interactive networking. So I remember at the end of 2019 showing up to her Markham. This is a Markham event. And I went there and we played this trivia game that Tammy was holding. And I don't think my team, no, I think my team won. My team won. And I remember that. I think it was a picture. Yeah. So, and you know what? From that event, it wasn't even just the winning that was awesome. That was great. But it was also that the people that I had won with, like, I still talk to them. The people at that event, I still talk to a lot of them. Like I've made friends with a few of them. So I said, oh gosh, I have to go back. So I went back to the next one, which was like really at the end of December, I think it was in December. And it was the same experience, like the trivia challenge. You know, you got to put your business card up on the board. You got to go on the website if you won the prizes. So it was all promotion of us, and really just, you know, it was a social gathering and a business at the same time. And I have to say, like, I love that. You know, I love that because that's fun. I don't feel intimidated or scared. Like I'm a shy individual that I go to a networking event and I'm in the corner because I don't know who these people are. And there, everyone came with the understanding that let's get to know each other and do it in a fun, social way. So that's how I got introduced to GTApreneurs. And when I heard that Tammy, that she'd mentioned in late, I think it was in December, I'm opening up these chapters. I'm like, I'm all over that. Sign me up. And my experience with the Thornhill chapter has been very, very positive. I can pick up the phone and call our members and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about, for example, mortgages? How does it work? Or our real estate agent, hey, you know, what's a great place to get properties now? Like I want to buy investment properties. And it's almost like it's a family at this point because we've been together for like since the beginning of the year. And also Tammy teaches you so much. So I've learned things. I was like, I could possibly not learn anything. I thought to myself, I'm just going to go on network. I've actually learned stuff. So I'm grateful to be able to have the interview, but I have to say the value that you're getting for being in a group like this, it's a lot of value. You're actually getting more value than what you're paying for the membership itself. So I just wanted to mention my experience because I always feel so highly about this group. And for those that are not a GTApreneurs member or in one of the groups or haven't attended a networking session, you should. And you'll see for yourself, like the energy in the group, it's such high energy and it's so positive. So that's what I wanted to say. And obviously Tammy's awesome. So I can't even, I'll be here for hours talking about Tammy.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Samantha. I appreciate that. Right. You know, and you know, my whole thing is philosophy is you only live once, you better have fun, right? There's no reason you know, you can't do business and have fun, you know? So, and you know, like myself and other entrepreneurs, we're working like 7 days a week usually, right? And so we don't carve out that time usually for us. So I'm like, you know, why not do that? Why not mix fun and business together? And we just had an event last night that you were at, right? We had the 35 people come out. The previous event, we had 40 people come out. And, you know, everybody's so happy and energetic in that, right? And I want to bring that to people, right? And my whole business is about helping entrepreneurs, you know, like you and other people who are watching out there, right, to grow your businesses. So I'm so happy you're providing value with the group. Again, we send each other referrals, you become each other's clients. I do create the web page for everybody here. So if you go to my website and you go to the exclusive referral networking groups page, you can see the video of how the suggestive referring web page works. So we multiply referrals, but yeah, I treat it like a business coaching as well, right? So we do education. So we're going to teach you how to maximize your use of LinkedIn, right? Or Facebook for business or Twitter, websites, you know, how to get your website higher on Google, you know, sales and techniques. So I'm so happy that, you know, you're an amazing woman, have your businesses for 10 years and that, right? And that I'm still able to teach you some new things, right? I'm so happy about that. And yeah, so if any of you here are interested in learning more about GTApreneurs exclusive referral networking groups, I'm more than happy to chat with you about that. Send me an email, book a virtual chat, and let's go, because together we are stronger, right? The events are great. Come out to all the events. I go to lots of events, I host events, but you're only there to promote yourself, right? And there's only so much you can do. When you're part of a referral group, then other people are sending business to you. So it's not just you promoting yourself, it's actually less work. And you know what? And it's actually really easy to send referrals. I mean, just the other week I sent Samantha a referral, right? I happened to be going to my storage unit in Burlington and to look at some stuff. There's a lady there, right? And she had a situation and I'm like, oh, I know a great paralegal who can help you out. So it's so easy really to give it and send referrals, right? And now that we've got these referral links, right, with the web pages, it even makes it that much extra beneficial, right? And also too, and this other idea I actually got from Samantha, so I have to thank her for that, is that we have these pods on LinkedIn. So if you're not sure what that means, it's essentially group chat. So each of our groups have one of these. So anytime you post on LinkedIn, you can paste the link and put it in our pod and ask everyone to like, comment, and share. Every time someone does that, it brings it higher in the newsfeed, which gets it more exposure, right? I know some of the posts that I've done, because you guys are all boosting the posts, I've gotten like over 700 views on the post. So that's significant, right? So I like to combine that online advertising free with the business education, with the referrals, the clients and all that, to make it a one comprehensive program to grow your business. So
Definitely.
so happy to have you part of that group, Samantha. I know everyone else is happy to have you there. You were super amazing. Call Samantha if you need anything notarized, anything legal, even if it's just some advice right now in that, or if you have a case that you need to be getting taken care of. Her and her team is very open to that, right? And they're more than happy to help you out. So thank you again for coming today, Samantha. And we will see you again soon. Everybody out there, please drop your questions in the chat if you have any. We're happy to answer them right now.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.